Testing, testing, testing. Good morning. Good morning. We are here once again at the More Motivation podcast.
Yep.
We doing some big things here at More Motivation. If you haven't noticed, we got More Motivation gear. We doing some big things.
Right,
We're here together in studio once again to serve the people and give them what they want. I am the co-host, Troy Christopher Moore. We're here with the founder and the president, Mr. Kendrick Moore. Good morning, Kendrick. How you doing this morning?
Man, listen. We need to be able to do this every week. You know what I'm saying? Like I wish you can fly into town, but I know you're back and forth and you're heading out. Because you're gonna be missing a month soon. So just to have you back so we can do this for the audience, it's a special thing. I think they get a kick out of it even more. Kind of seeing us together to be able to do this, especially being able to. They heard us over 100 episodes, but now getting able to see us, man.
Right.
So that gets me super excited. So I'm just happy to be doing this.
Awesome. And we're here again for our listeners, for all the things that, we want to share with you, because this podcast is not for us.
Right.
This podcast is for you, the people. Right.
Right.
So we're about to get into this, but before we do, we want to do a shout out this week. And this week, we want to shout out, in case you didn't know, I'm an author.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I'm proud to be able to say that, authored this book, Command the Morning. It's an inspirational book, to help you to get you through your day.
Right.
And what's great about this is that I was able to do this in English and Spanish.
Wow.
So we have both versions. You can hit me up, at any time.
Right.
If you want to get a copy, an autographed copy, you want me to come and do book signings, I'm able to do that as well. But I'm just excited over the fact of not really just the book, but that we could come on here on this platform and really uplift small businesses, community events, people that's doing some things to give them an opportunity to share, their particular gifts and talents.
That's right,
so
man. Listen.
More motivation. We're excited about that.
Listen, man, and the people asked me to do a book, Troy, so I don't even know how you did it. Just with the time and commitment. Seriously, man, that's something in itself to be able to sit down, concentrate, focus, and be able to put that together, man. And again, as you mentioned, something that's from the heart and for the audience. And we know that's HLM. You know what I'm saying? For sure. Giving back.
HLM.
Yep.
HLM. So
Love it.
Now, Kendrick, I'm telling you, man, this podcast, I don't know, man. It's one of those, and I know we try to, kind of hop around and, really feed our audience.
Yeah.
But this probably could be like 5 weeks of this, man. But we'll see how this goes with yourself and getting these topics together.
Yeah.
So talk to us and share with us some of the feedback from last week and the content that we received regarding happiness.
Right. And as you mentioned, we talking about something that could literally be a 5-week episode. Like this could be like a teaching series,
right?
When you talk about happiness, because what we always say, like focusing attention on others, like you got to make sure you look inside and fix yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's what's really causing you to impact others. You build others with how you feel, or you break others with how you feel. You know what I'm saying? So the feedback that we got, this is why we doing part 2.
Right.
This is why we had to make sure we revisit this topic right now, because the people need that.
Yeah.
The people, they're in these spaces where they're not truly being themselves. And they're having a hard time conquering this thing that they can't see, but they feel every day. Like, so that conversation about being unfulfilled, like how many people related to the fact of the percentage thing we gave?
Right.
Like if you had a certain, and you always looking for someone else to fulfill the rest of that.
Yeah.
Like it's a real conversation, and I'm glad people gravitated towards. I'm glad we were able to bring it to people's attention in this platform. But man, it was a powerful thing, and we hope we can deliver again this week.
Wow. Well, I'm sure that we're going to tap into some things that's really going to help some people
for sure
with this particular podcast. So
for sure,
let's just get right into this, and let's do this. So what we got for this week,
man? Listen, and that again, the conversation that confirmed for me to stick with that topic was, again, when my guy talked about his being on earth for 40 years and not ever experiencing. We're not talking about happy moments. We're not talking about a birthday party and you were happy at the time.
Right.
In that span of a few hours.
Right.
True happiness.
Right. Right.
True happiness. Like, and a lot of people go a lifetime without experiencing happiness. Like, not that it's the opposite, but how sad is that?
Yeah, that is.
When we think about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, people going through life unfulfilled. Like, and never being able to really truly experience that. So that's where I want to start. But also, I want to talk to that population of unhappy people and just say, it's okay to be happy.
Yeah.
When you're in a certain state for so long, a state of mind, state of feeling, state of being, it becomes, habits are powerful, it becomes a natural habit without you even trying.
Right. Right.
And you just start feeling like happiness is not for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you, like, happy, I don't deserve to be happy.
Right. Right.
And we said happiness is internal. Unhappiness is internal. But now, because you've been in that state for so long, you start to think, I should not be happy. And you start doing things that support that.
Right. Correct.
Right? You start doing things now that support this feeling that you've had for so long. So listen, I just want people to know it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to be happy. It's okay to go after happiness, to want to be happy. But again, you got to get the right people that you surround yourself with to get you to that state where it becomes internal and not just a fleeting moment.
Man, this is such a relevant topic of this particular time. And it's interesting that you said that about you deserve to be happy.
Right.
Because someone just said to me, well, I said to them, like, are you doing okay? Everything? And I was like, yeah, they kind of gave me a vague answer.
Right, right.
And all I said to them was, you deserve to be happy, right? And uncontrollably tears, uncontrollably tears, like, you deserve to be happy, right? So with this, Kendrick, since we're revisiting this topic and it's such timeliness that we do, what do you think what constitute happiness? Give us your take on that.
Hey, Troy, man, listen, we know we've been through so much. So it's almost, it's hard for me to say what just constitutes it, right? Because if you look at the things that we've been through, I know, especially for me, that I've been through, what I can say about myself is I'm happy. But if you watching from the outside lens and you judge happiness based on what the way a lot of people do, you would probably naturally assume that I'm unhappy.
Right.
Based on what I've been through.
Right. Right.
So, but for some way, shape, or form, you gotta go through the storm. And by doing that, that puts you at a clean slate to always start from you got a fresh start of accepting things for what they are.
Right.
Right. And so that's the part that people got to understand. You go through these storms, which are going to happen in your life. It allows you to accept things for what they truly are.
Right. Right.
Right. And some people, though, they like to get to the other side, but avoid the storm. They want to go around it and never go through the struggles, the battles, the disappointments, etc. You got to figure out how you're going to handle things. We said happiness is internal. It doesn't mean everything's going to go well.
Correct.
But if you go around it, and as soon as something comes up, it triggers you. Because you never cleared your mind, mentality, internal, mental by going through the storm.
Right.
So I don't have the exact answers because some reason I'm in this space of being happy and I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love that space.
Right.
And listen, I absolutely love it.
Amazing.
But you gotta be willing to go through things.
Yeah.
You can't be afraid to, and I know I was one that never wanted to talk about it. You gotta be willing to open up.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be willing to talk about things.
Yeah.
And let these situations move you to that space of internal happiness. It's a fabulous place to be. I love waking up happy. Don't mean I'm not tired. Don't mean I feel great but I love waking up happy, opening my eyes and excited about it.
Right.
You know, not looking forward to Friday because I enjoy Tuesday.
Right.
You know, not dreading Monday because I'm excited about the opportunities that Monday's going to bring. Like I'm a happy person.
Right.
You know, and that feeling, man, it's like I said, whether I'm at 60, whether I'm at 70, whether I'm at 80, I love to think I'm at one of the highest percentages because I don't look for people to fulfill my happiness. Like that's the state I'm in.
Yeah.
I don't need a thing. A thing is not going to fulfill me.
Correct.
A person, I don't need. People complete me. When I say people complete me, it completes me in a totally different way.
Right.
I'm already fulfilled. I'm already happy. So it just adds value.
It just adds to it. Right.
You know, it just adds to it.
Right.
So that's a great space to be. And is it for everyone? I don't know. That's a question. That's a debate.
Yeah.
But man, to work towards that every day, that's bliss. That's true. That's a true way to live. So I just encourage people to give it their best and try to shoot for being happy.
So I want to throw in a little bonus question here because I think that particular segment, what you just talked about, literally, I mean, there's 7.3 billion people on the earth. I think literally, you know, most of the people on this planet is looking for that space.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So talk to us about how you even got to that point of, like you said, people kind of mix emotions. I'm exhausted. So they think, well, I can't be happy.
Right.
So talk to us about how you got to this particular space where you're at right now.
I think, I shouldn't say I think. And the only reason I say I think because there wasn't a specific point where one particular thing happened and I said, oh, I know how to control that. You know, it wasn't one of those types of things.
Right.
But I've had so many different situations and opportunities.
Yeah.
I've had so many different hardships and battles. You know, I've been really good. I knew how to use the different supports that I had. I always talk to people about recall. Like when you get in situations, you recall things, people that help shape you in certain situations.
Yeah.
Being able to apply it, being able to properly compartmentalize certain things that are going on. Like, because when you're happy, I knew this is one of the things I did know, Troy. And I understood exactly what was going on. Troy, we talk about when basketball didn't end on my own terms. With the injuries and everything, and it was just me just saying like, man, is it like, but I knew something happened to me though when I was going through that battle. I would project how I was feeling inside on others. It wasn't a great space for me.
Yeah.
but I was, and it something clicked, and I said, no, don't do that.
Right.
Right? Don't do that. Don't. It was hard
Yeah.
because I loved the sport.
Right.
But then I became like, no, like that's not what I am. I'm in a bad space right now. Let me learn how to deal with this. I knew then that I knew how to compartmentalize things. Like, hold on a second.
Right.
Like, no, that's this thing that's going on.
Yeah.
That has to do with basketball. That doesn't have to do with the good people around me. You know, that support me, that build me. Understand how not to translate that emotion onto other people.
Yeah.
Because I'm happy. Like the real me is happy. I knew how not to let these other things affect my internal being.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So these situations started to happen, and I just became really good at keeping things in their proper space.
Yeah.
Just make sure you keep, that affects me there. That has to do with that. This is there, keeping things in their proper space, giving things the proper attention it deserves, especially emotionally.
Yeah.
You know, making sure I understood that part. So I really started to, I want to say, even master that part. You know, so that's the part that allows me to say, man, I'm grateful, I'm happy, I love life.
Right.
I love life. Right? And then I still able to deal with situations in their proper and respective places. So that part, I remember that one section of that thing where I had to make sure I stopped myself. But that's one of those things where, man, like you start mastering these little things about life.
Wow.
It allows you, because here's a deal, Troy. No matter what went on, you said, yeah, I deserve to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
I deserve to be happy. And being in that space, there's no other better space to be.
Wow. That again, with the billions of people on earth, that is a priceless space to be in.
Truth. Yes. Yes.
You know, such a gratefulness to be able to say you were able to overcome that stuff and be able to say that you're happy.
Right.
Right. So now as we get ready to, you know, close out on this week's podcast, I want to get an understanding of this particular question here because I know that it's going to feed our listeners. Right. So, does the impact of an unhappy person extend beyond themselves? Talk to us about that.
Just naturally, what I mentioned a second ago, especially when you don't know you're unhappy. When you don't know that I'm unhappy,
right,
you start to just project things on people based on how you're feeling.
Correct.
Even what we talked about last week, we'll get there in a second. But that burden of how you're feeling, you put it on other people. And a lot of times, Troy, which is even worse, which people have, you put it on the people closest to you.
Yeah.
You put that unhappiness, how you treat them, how you talk to them, how you respect, you put it on the people closest to you when you're unhappy. And like I said, that's the worst part, when you don't even know where it's coming from.
Wow.
You know, you got to take a dive back. And also when we talked about the percentage things, if you look at it from a relationship standpoint, if you are only at that 50-60% level, can you imagine the burden you put on other people, always requiring them to fulfill your needs? And as soon as and here's the deal, you're not even respecting the fact of where they are. What if they're only at 30?
Correct.
You ain't even respecting the fact of where they are. You're just worried about yourself.
Right.
And you being unhappy, you start to burden them and want them to complete the other 40% when they only at 30.
Right.
So you naturally start putting that burden on other people. It just impacts people around you.
Yeah.
And I like to say this, Troy, an unhappy person is it's very similar to one of the other effects, is very similar to that kid in the classroom that the teacher is having an issue with in their behavior, and the teacher's looking at it from another way too. Like, yeah, your behavior is one thing for yourself, but you're also disrupting the environment around you.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you're also disrupting the environment.
Right.
And at the same time, you're trying to pull other people down with you. That's the thing with unhappy people.
Yeah.
They disrupt the environment, and they're looking for other people to be unhappy with them.
Correct.
That supports their feelings.
Right.
You want other people to be unhappy. I'm not going to be the only one unhappy.
Right.
I need other people in this thing with me, in this mess with me, feeling bad with me. Right? Wow. So that's one of the things with unhappiness. Like, it's a tough space to be in.
Yeah.
It gotta be. You watch it all the time. And when people talk about you gotta find a way to love yourself. It's more than what we see on it. You gotta find a way to love you.
Yeah.
Right? So man, I'm glad you brought that up, Troy, because that impact of unhappiness is so grand. Yeah, as much as it impacts you, that control you have or lack of control you have of what you are doing, it has an even grander impact on the people around you. So audience, make sure you lock in on this conversation. Unfulfilled, when we talk about happiness and seeking joy, make sure you lock in.
Listeners, thank you once again for tuning in this week. And we've touched and dove into some deep, deep areas. So please just make sure you reach out to someone if you need some help. You want to have a conversation. We don't want you to go through this alone. So this is why we're actually doing this podcast.
Right.
So take care. We thank you so much for tuning in. Catch us on Spotify, Podbean, the More Basketball website. We love our future, podcasters, and we love all those that support us.
Yep.
And again, your content and what you send us, it helps us with future podcasts. So take care.
That's right.
And have a fabulous week.
That's right. Lock in, guys. More motivation.
I just want to thank my son, Kendrick Moore, for dedicating his life to helping our youth. I know it's a tough task, but keep up the good work with More Basketball Clinic. I'm proud of the man you have become. I love you.